I won't mention it.
Okay.
Okay.
But usually when 1-1 is picked, I think they need a stopper. Like Kaja, Franco, Kufra, to make 1-1 easier to open the weakness.
Geek fam say no. We're not gonna give you the
They
Kaja.
ban all the stopper.
We need, either some utility for the slows or some lockdown like the Kaja, the Franco to enable the 1-1. Now for Geek fam, I don't think they're gonna go for a Franco ban, right? On to Onic.
It's better Minotaur.
Minotaur.
Yeah.
I think Minotaur would be a good option for Geek fam, wouldn't it? Up against a Faramis, it would be a solid answer to that AoE co-alter.
With that Minotaur, it can counter the Cloud or even the penalty zone or even the Kadita. When the breath of the ocean is coming, you can use the Mino on Fury.
Yep.
To immune from the crowd control. That's why Minotaur is a good option for Onic. It's going to get banned from the Geek fam.
Oh, but Onic here, they have actually decided to opt for a Ruby ban. Yesterday when I was watching that the compositions coming in, I was like, no, I don't like this Ruby. And then Boloyskie made it work. He was so good at finding the proper moments, the proper setup, the initiation was there. So I do think that is an outlier pick for Boloyskie in particular, and Geek take away Kiboy's Cho.
Yeah, it's really important that I think if we look at all of the M series, most of the winner are Cho user.
Yeah.
We agree, right?
There's always one good Cho in all of the M World Champions team, or even MSC, I believe. So, Cho, this a signature pick at MLBB, but here, I think Geek fam, the reason they're banning out a lot of these roamers is because they already have a roamer. I have a feeling that this Caderaa will go into the roam position and they'll pick up something like a Yaitu. And now with a Grok pick from Onic, it only pushes that agenda even further. Geek fam need something that can stay put in the mid lane, and maybe the Caderaa is a bit too volatile for it to go just to be the mid lane. Unless Geek fam want to say, no, you know what? Saber roam.
Saber roll.
No, I don't like it, but hey.
And against
1-1?
It's really dangerous because 1-1 have the Needles of Flower. He can easily dodge the triple sweep from Saber.
Yeah, it's way too risky
But
in
damage
this
still
regard.
comes through, by the way. Like, you can get out, but the damage will still come through. A single target. It's very
Can it
risky.
burst?
It still bursts. So you get out of the CC, but you don't
But
get out
the
of the damage.
But it's a one-way ticket. After you triple sweep 1-1, you will be
Oh my god.
in the middle of the Onic formation, but if, like Mirko prediction before, and Baxia. We gotta see another utility jungler for Geek fam today.
I wonder if Onic want to swap things out now. Do they want to flex? There's so
Fredrin?
much flex, right? Fredrin?
Grok.
What would I do? Would you go Fredrin against Baxia in the jungle?
It's a tough matchup. I would say no. I would say go for something like a Lancelot, maybe even an assassin. Like, well, it's very risky, but if you want to pull it off here, the Ling. I would say the Ling
go,
is
Albert.
not bad here. Up against a Geek fam, against the Yaitu and the Claude. That's solid. But yeah, the Claude can actually escape from the Ling quite easily. It's gonna
There
be
you go.
Lancelot. Solid choice. Lancelot, safest choice.
Solid choice, but within this draft, I think Onyx gonna try to play very aggressive on the early game since they bringing the Lancelot. And for the Geek fam, they gonna dive into Onyx jungler if they play too passive on the early game. That's why we gonna see on this first game.
I don't necessarily enjoy Butss on the Fredrin because I do think that it's not as suitable towards his playstyle in a sense. But I like this flex better. I like Lancelot in the jungle. I think they have a better chance in the neutral objective takes. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, both compositions have been set in stone. I'm actually curious to see the talents and the battle spells before we get into the game.
Let's take a look at the battle spells here. It's just pretty normal for everyone. Not really anything too interesting here. Purify as well on Caderaa to kind of respect that 1-1.
But yeah, the Kadita from Boloyskie is using to pull yourself together. They need to be careful about the Petrify cooldown that has been reduced.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the land of dawn, the Sky Kings versus the Geeks in game number 1 of this best of 3 match. Remember, Albert stepping back in to Onic as their jungler. We're wondering how this is going to go for the Sky Kings.
The question is it gonna be a nice debut for Albert as jungler, or Onic will lose on this match? That's the question that we gonna see later.
Yeah, we're excited. We're a little nervous for him as well because, you know, if he loses this, it's not going to be a good look for him, being one of the most legendary junglers here at MPL ID Season 12. But up front, let's take a look at the talents and the emblems. Does anything stand out?
I think 1-1 still using the tenacity. Even tenacity has already been nerfed, but the orange buff has been stolen.
Beautiful by Nnael there. This is the information that Boloy always gets in the early game, whether the enemy jungle uses the retry on the purple buff. For the first buff, petrifying the breath of the ocean. Albert might fall here. Thorn rolls defensively with a puncture. Nnael, Tortoise's Poissons running Kiboy down as a wall. Kiboy flickering out. One more shield, but Kiboy is able to dodge. A few more damage ticks from that second skill. And Geek Fam are dominating the early game.
Wow. That's already just really, really good rotations coming in from Geek Fam, being able to pressure Onic earlier on, pressure Albert in particular on an assassin that is quote-unquote a lot more vulnerable than the Baxia. That's definitely something that they can take advantage of in the first few minutes of the game.
Even Albert is still level 2. But that's the advantage from Geek Fam if they play with two mid laner that using magical damage and even the Baxia who can dive into the enemy's jungler easily on these early game.
He rotates too fast. He rotates too fast. Onic, at the moment here in the early game, it doesn't seem like they can compete with the quickness, the rapidness of Geek Fam right now, and you can already see that they're setting up for the first neutral objective. Remember, this is the first Lord of the game.
Gonna be resetted. Good wall. Good barrier from Kiboy, keeping it at bay. As Geek Fam tries to go for more, Albert's still level 3. Despite picking up that purple buff, now goes in, and it's still Nnael who takes it away. Albert, there's no way they can test for this turtle. Onic, though, seems like they still want to go for the poke. Sans giving vision for the team, but it's obviously going to be free for Nnael. Goes for the retribution, real world manipulation, locking them down with the call. Also saves them for now. Sans running, but it gets taunted down. Kiboy getting out, but the first blood will be picked up by Luke, and now that's another for Abot. Albert still 2 levels down, jumps in with a puncture once again. Another puncture to go and reset, but Boloy's waiting in the bush. Down breath of the ocean, knocks him up, but Albert was able to escape. Nnael still looking for that shield unity under the tier 2, but they finally pull back.
The jitters for Albert, man. It's tough, right? Because when you think about it, Albert is a jungler that hasn't played for so long, stepping into Kairi's shoes, one of the best jungler in the world, as you like to call it, Mirko. It's not a position that is easy to take. There's definitely pressure there. And of course, there's so many expectations onto him to keep the legacy running. And with him being level 4 now, behind Nnael, who is quote-unquote a rookie here coming into Geek Fam, that surely is not an easy thing to do, nor is it a good look for him as well.
Yeah, Nnael as the rookie have the fire on him. That's why he will prove that he will gonna try to be the best jungler on this season, but look at that.
Rough waves, onto Sans, a real world manipulation to take him down before the cult ultra even comes down. And Onic are losing the early game hard to the Geeks.
Yeah, Onic is getting pressured by Geek Fam movement, but nothing that they can do right now.
Let's see, CW, the crossbow attack, dodging away from the shield unity. Kiboy gets the kill. CW now going to be chained down with a blazing duet onto the back. Caderaa finds a kill back. Kiboy forced to flicker defensively. And it's another win as Abot chunks Kiboy even lower, forcing him completely back. Butss trying to cancel the recalls, will be able to do so, but he's going to get chunked. He loses half of his HP, now down to a quarter. And Caderaa will not give Butss the proper respect. He doesn't need to. They can just continue the siege as Butss walks up and takes even more punishment.
All right, let's take a little bit of a moment here, right? Because almost everyone voted for Onic's composition. So why is it in the first 5 minutes of game, Geek Fam has been able to lead 3,000 in economy?
Yeah, because they have 2 magical damage heroes on the mid lane, and using Baxia, even they already secured 2 turtles on this game. That's why Onic needs to guarding all the objective that they have. So if Geek Fam got the pick off from the Onyx heroes, but they cannot get all the objective like the turret. The outer turret is really important for Onic because if it destroyed, it make Geek Fam more easily to dive in.
See, that's the complicated answer. The easy answer, Mirror Curse.
Yeah,
But
we
it's
don't
still
like
early
you.
game.
I'm sorry.
So you just said that it's still early game, right? What are we waiting on from Onic? Wait a second, Boloyskie.
Rough Waves gets out. Kiboy, wild charge, perfectly timed to the Rough Waves, and now it should be Boloy taken down. CW picks up the kill with that glorious killing notification as Caderaa tries his best to siege up top. He knows there's no crossbow tank, so there's no real risk of dying here, and he just walks back.
Dude, I think Geek Fam, they might want to go dive this, do they not? It's a 4v3. I think it's a little too risky.
Yeah, and that's the answer actually from your question, Eterna. Because they bring Faramis and bring Wanwan, they need to play together. They need to stick together to make it work during the team fights happens. But it cannot work on the early game because they need to defending their own lane.
All right, so because Onic have a team fight composition, they need to stick with that. And so far, Geek Fam have been able to exploit it, being able to get pickoffs on the board, and that's definitely not the way that Onic want to go about this. But after this laning phase, we should see a difference, ladies and gentlemen. But look at this pressure on the top side. Caderaa just forcing that turret take from Onic.
It's due to the facilitation of the team. Geek Fam were able to just zone the Porcupines away. Caderaa, whoa! Plays into it to the backseat. He might get solo kill. The Cole ultra defensively. That's Kiboy with a wild charge, but Caderaa gets out with a Purify. He gets caught in the barrier right now with the Rough Waves and the Breath of the Ocean with a Petrify. Locks him down. Kiboy still able to flicker out.
No way.
The real world manipulation from a boy with a flicker. Slays Kiboy. That's the execute and the cleanup that Geek Fam were looking for.
What a nice backup from the Geek Fam team, because like from the movement with Abot using the river manipulation or even the other skills that make the Kiboy cannot stand up, but it's a perfect turtle for Geek Fam.
Yeah, so far still a 3-0-2 here for the stats of Geek Fam. Looks like Onic, they're trying to defend this mid-tower turret, but with so much high ground, with so much damage, with so much clear coming in from Geek Fam, it looks like it is a little bit difficult here for Onic, and it's keeping them on their toes. 5,000 gold lead. Again, Colius, I have to ask, is there a particular maybe power spike that Onic are waiting for before they go in for a full 5v5 team fight?
CW is the key, Eterna. They need to wait until CW get maybe 4 or 5 items to join in the team fights. They have a lot of bodyguard for CW. They called Altar from Faramis or even Kiboy using the wild charge if Klaus getting inside. And look at the goal difference there. That it's not too far. The goal difference from Caderaa and CW here is only 1,400 gold that can be easily chased by the CW if the team fight happening.
Oh, but that's kind of one item, right? That's
almost one item
ahead. CW, he needs to catch up. Earlier on, we see Boloyskie trying to look for an engage, but Albert here.
Thorn rolls, phantom execution. That's a shutdown for Sans. Albert getting him low enough for that shutdown to be taken away. But for now, it's still Onic playing it a bit safe. Luke getting brought back to the team. He actually mistimed his second skill. Now gets chunked to half. Taunted up by Butss, knocked up again. Albert with another engage in with a puncture. 3 punctures and a Thorn Rose. Not connecting. Nnael in that bush, finally getting red out. That's a barrier to stop him. But Geek Fam do not want to continue. That's a brilliant taunt onto Caderaa, forcing a BMI and chunking Caderaa to half HP.
After looking at that engage, we gotta ask, is Albert building tank?
He is. Utility.
I think so.
He went in for a very aggressive emblem and talent choice, but he's building into tank?
But if he's building like all-out damage, it's gotta be dangerous when the contest is happening. Because Albert can get easily picked off because Geek Fam having a lot of burst damage heroes like maybe the Boloyskie using the Rough Wave to aim for Albert later. That's why he gonna need all of the defensive items.
Do you think that... Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, no way! Oh, he almost got it. That final weakness point was popped up by Caderaa. Welcome to the Caderaa, ladies and gentlemen. Petrify on the back with only a Rough Waves. Not enough damage to shut him down. There's a Breath of the Ocean. Albert with a puncture out of the Breath of the Ocean. Penalty zone dodged away from Albert. Using that Thorn Rose. Now Luke getting taunted up. Kiboy dealing some damage. There's no gold laner here for Onic. Boloyskie with a conceal. Now the Breath of the Ocean. Knocking Butss up. No Rough Waves to play with. Phantom execution in the back of the flicker with the Appraiser's Wrap, but the boy reacts to it perfectly. Now Butss with some damage. Butss very low. 1 HP. Boloy splashes him with water as he takes him down. That's a wild charge defensively. Albert, puncture. 1-2. One more hit from Caderaa. Albert is running for the hills. He falls to a boy despite a phantom execution, and it's all Geek fam.
What a
this
nice
is it.
kiting game.
Beautiful, beautiful, but at the end of the day, Geek fam just steamrolling over the Sky Kings. This was your MSC champions. Does the change on Kairi into Albert affect Onyx gameplay this much?
Oh!
The steal! What? Did he steal it?
Yeah,
Kiboy always with the play. He stole that with a barrier. And now he gets slain, he gets punished, but whenever you count them out, that's when the magic happens. CW with the Inspire, still running away. Rose Gold Meteor popped in by Caderaa. CW gets a bit more HP right now. Caderaa running him down. Weakness points not ready. CW and Caderaa, it's a stalemate. Both of them disengage. Nnael's looking for the kill though. Now as Albert jumps in with a puncture, gets out, distracts Geek. But Kiboy, my god!
That's a really, really beautiful movement from Kiboy itself. If Geek fam got the Lord, I think Onyx gonna be facing a hard time to defending all of the inner turrets, but they got the Lord right now. They can make all the tempo, all the map control back to Team Onyx. And look at the items from the CW. He already secured a lot of potential items that can destroy Geek fam defensive, like the Corrosion Side, DHS, the Malefic Roar, all the penetration and all the damage for the tankiness heroes from Geek fam.
Is it enough, Colius?
Not yet.
Are those 3 items enough for Onyx to look for a comeback here?
Not yet, I think, Eterna.
What is he
still
waiting for?
Needs, like maybe the Hasclaw, because it have the Frenzy, it have the Life Steal, so it's gonna be really important for CW, but he needs to wait it. Or the Wind of Nature, because the Blasting Duet from Cloud, it's gonna be dangerous if he just dive in using the BMI and targeting the CW. That's why the Wind of Nature is there.
Okay, so finally Onyx find the CW in a comfortable position to go in for these team fights, but wait a minute.
Oh, 2-man immobilized from CW's first kill. Now there's only one wild charge from Kiboy! And now the call Alter as CW finds a kill onto Boloy. The real world manipulation stops them in the back. CW looking for the crossbow attack and he finds it! Oh no boy! CW with a double kill. Caderaa in the back now looking for him. CW has that with a nature. That was a taunt up and a knock up. Caderaa taken low. Albert with the execute in the back. And he finds it.
Oh my God!
With 1 HP! The young lord getting out to safety. The winter truncheon used up by Nnael as Kiboy and Butss continue the fight. Butss able to sustain back up as CW is back to full HP. All the weakness points and now one more first kill to seal the deal. Onyx are back.
4-0, ladies and gentlemen, in that exchange. Onyx completely turning it around on the back of the play from Kiboy. That beautiful wild charge was able to immobilize a lot of members on the side of Geek fam. And then the follow-up from both Albert as well as CW. What a comeback.
This is the moment that they waiting for. They need to Geek fam being baited to like having the team fights when Onyx is 5 mans there, because the Cult Altar, the defensive like from the wild charge is really important. That Onyx may be playing a kiting game. That's why Geek fam need to be careful, waiting for the Cult Altar has been popped out and then doing the kiting game.
Wonderfully executed here. Geek fam initially with almost a 6,000 gold lead. It's shrunken to 1,000. Up until this point with Onyx having a really good team fight composition. What do Geek fam do? Do they look for a pick-off before they go for this Lord?
I think they need to look for a fight. Just a straight up fight. What do you think, Colius?
Geek fam need to pick up someone first. If they play like contesting the Lord with all the 5-man, like 10-men on the Lord's pit, it's gonna be dangerous for Geek fam because Onyx have the Cult Altar. Onyx have the Albert using the Tone Rose and the Retribution more accurate during the contest because of the damage.
Okay, who jumps in? Good Thorn Rose. That's a Petrify used up. Now the Altar comes down. Retry battle. It's Albert who wins it against Nnael. Taken very low though. Albert will be slain. He gets punished for that steal. Meanwhile, CW in the top lane finds a very good base turret take for free. And again, it's an Onic W.
Uh-oh.
2 huge objectives. The Lord and the base top turret have been destroyed by Onyx. I think it's the comeback moment for Onyx, and they really need to like managing the minions wave until the Albert is arrive again on the land of down, and they're gonna do the team fight again.
It looks like that's what Kiboy's doing, exactly right. CW picking yet another item here in that Sea Halberd. What does this mean for their team fights?
Well, for now, it means that Both, wait, CW goes in very aggressively. Luke, penalty zone with a nature popped in by CW, getting out 1 HP! The co-alter saves CW, but Luke flickers forward to find a shutdown with a big hammer. And the Blazers back connecting to the back, but Nnael survives with a damage reduction from the Tortoise and Poissons as Butss goes in for a taunt onto 2. A boy still able to chunk him low, to slow him down, and ultimately to take him out. Geek fam back again, 2-0.
That might have been a mistake from CW. With him taking down 2 members traded back. Onic, they've only been able to get that tower in the top side. Nothing more with that. And Geek fam going in for the counter push.
Wow. They're gonna play on the mid lane now. They're gonna destroying all the inner middle turret or even the base middle turret. It's really dangerous for Onic.
Dodging away from the penalty zone, Kiboy with the wall charge defensively used up. That's a co-alter to try to save Kiboy. And now it's gonna be the Thorn Rose onto the back. Albert doing work. 1 HP on Boloy. No Phantom Execution to be used by Albert. Still on cooldown. And for both teams, it's a sigh of relief.
It's a wise decision, I think, from Geek fam. They just destroy the inner middle turret and then they just go back without any heroes that have been taken down from Onic. And with this counter setups things that Geek fam needs to manage all the minions so they got the map control again. Because if Onic got the map control, it's gonna be dangerous. It's gonna be hard for Geek fam to open the map using all the heroes that Geek fam have right now.
It's definitely difficult, right? Boloyskie needs to find a good flank, but look at Caderaa in the backside. Look at the damage. What? He's bursting down Grok. Kiboy with full defense items. They need to figure out how to be able to take Caderaa down. And if we take a look at the composition, there's not really anyone who can do that. Kiboy perhaps looking for a flank, a 3-man charge. Even that is going to be difficult to take Caderaa down if he has that BMI. What's the option? What's the solution here for Onic?
Yeah, I know. Because on the late game, that Caderaa damage is really, really painful. They're aiming for the Kiboy.
That was a wild charge onto the back right now. Stunning the back. Boloyskie going to be taken very low as the co-alter saves CW. Rose goal built up for CW. Albert now with the Phantom Execution, but Nnael is walking him down. Thorn Rose used up with a puncture. Oh, we missed the puncture. That might be a blunder. Luke is trying to punish him right now. Back up for Onic. Kiboy's rotating, but Albert gets the dash. And he gets out.
The Lord is there. I think Geek fam want to make this really, really meaningful because they need to set up the Lord. They need to bait for the Lord on their side and waiting for the team fights. But Geek fam needs to be careful that they need to pick off someone first because before focusing on the Lord, it's gonna be dangerous because Albert can easily contest it again like before using the Tone Rose and the Retribution.
I agree, and I'm also worried about housekeeping here, right? With the Lord on the top side, it is going to favor Geek a little bit, but just because of the fact that they can, continue to maintain that top wave a little bit better here. But I'm scared, I'm worried. Geek fam, they have Caderaa, Claude, who can easily go for a plan and beat execution down in the bottom side, but look at this!
CW gets out, that Rose Gold saved him, he sells it for the win of nature now. But CW is a bit too low. I think Onic might have to concede this Lord for free. But no, they're still staying. Butss, taunt, 2 members. Butss gonna be taken down by Caderaa. That's a kill that marks the end of this contest. Albert now running back with Onic for the hills as Luke just gets another smash in the hammer onto Albert with a free Lord to the Geeks.
I thought they're gonna go back because we already said that CW is having a very low HP, but Butss is there trying to dive in, facing against Geek fam, but it's too low. Now Onic is having another kill points. Geek fam got the kill points from the Butss itself, and they need to defensively without Butss, waiting for the Butss to be arrived.
I guess there's a possibility that maybe Onic needed to contest that because of their lack in range, right? When it comes to siege, when it comes to base defense, with Geek fam having a boy, that's a lot of high ground as well as Boloyskie to try and go for that backline, and here is the process.
The overwhelm inflation to the back right now. Wild charge on the 4! That's a purified for Caderaa, but it's too low. The co-alter grants the team a second life, but now it's all gonna be melted down as the Winter Truncheon was used up by Nnael with the crossbow tag from CW. Connects onto the back. A win of nature by Caderaa to survive, and it's a penalty zone from Luke. Albert buys the immortality, but it's a bit too late. Now CW handling the Lord. Gets all the weakness points onto Luke. A boy still chunking Sans low, but Geek fam will finally choose to back away. Now looking at the mid lane, Kiboy with a good smack in the face, but Caderaa had that BMI planted in the back.
never underestimate Onic during the defensive moment. I think that's the power from Onic itself. In every defensive movement that they have, it's really, really important move that we see on the last moment is wild charge from Kiboy. He's saving the day.
Sure, I think that they were able to defend it, but Geek Fam were still able to get that inhibitor turret in the bottom side. And in the grand scheme of things, I do believe that that is worth it. Onic have less structures on the board as compared to Geek. And looking at this, that was really beautiful by Luke. That re-engage with the penalty zone. Luckily, CW was still able to get out of that with her inbuilt Purify. And now we're back to square one.
Yeah, Onic is like having a really good high ground defensive to clear out the wave minions who comes to the base. But don't forget, they have Albert who is using lane slot or even Sans. Faramis and Lancelot is very good heroes to defense, like destroying all the minions wave who coming on their base. That's why it's the winning condition from Geek Fam. They need to take down Albert and Sans first before they can end this game easily.
And now for Onic. What does it take for them to come back? Because it seems like whenever they go for these skirmishes, Geek Fam have more range to play with. And I think for the most part, that's what has been granting Geek Fam these better team fights. The Yeep, that RWM is a problem for CW. And CW, at this point, is the sole carry for Onic.
With all of the heroes from Onic, I think they need to play front to back strategy, because like it's gonna be hard for them to dive into the back line and to aiming for Abot who always got free position. That's the problems that Onic needs to face. But now Lord is coming.
Boy, petried that. So no petrifying. I think Onic has that info. And now it's the battle of the Lord Dance. Aggro control, Nnael winning it, taking the Lord to his side, but it's a good barrier to cancel it.
All right, so the Lord once again reset it here, ladies and gentlemen. And if you guys missed it, 22 minutes has already elapsed. We are now entering the late game. The death timers gonna take a toll onto these team players, especially one little mistake can turn the entire game around. Look at this, there's initiation coming in from Sans as well as Butss.
Thorn rolls, wild charge onto 3, locking him down 4 now, and that's going to be a lot of damage placed onto Boloy. But he gets out with the rough waves, and gets out of the puncture. Now the RWM placed down, but CW will be able to zone him away. Abot respecting that, backing out. Albert with a good shot on the Thorn Rose, he gets it with the burn from that Thorn Rose, from the kit that he has. Caderaa in the mid lane, CW's chasing him, but Caderaa gets out. Ooh, very, very close with that purifying the BMI.
But they got the Caderaa immortality. No more immortal shield for Caderaa right now. I think it's time for Onic if they want to contest this Lord, because it's really important Lord. If they got the Lord, they can destroy all the tower that Geek Fam have left.
I don't know here, Onic, they're lacking 2 major resources. The real world manipulation should be back in just a few moments, and there it is. Geek Fam, they're ready for a fight if they find that proper engage. It's so scary.
Yeah, because Antara is the key, Eterna. I think they need to pop it on the right moment, on the perfect moment when Geek Fam try to go all out to aiming maybe for the CW or even the other's hero. That's why they need to play the kiting game, they need to play the patient game, the waiting game.
Boloy used the Petri. That was a desperate attempt from Geek Fam. And now it's a wild charge. Knocking Boloy up. That's a Thorn Rose. Boloy gets out with the oddity, but Kiboy taken very low. Immortality pop in the real world manipulation still, and it forces the Cold Alter. Was that a penalty zone by Luke? It was. Phantom execution now onto Caderaa. Good shots with the true damage on that endless battle and the passive.
Geek Fam have no resources left though. They only have the Blazing Duet coming in from a Caderaa, and his Purify is coming out really soon. Despite that though, it doesn't look like Onic want to go for this. Kiboy looking for the proper engage. Can he find that miracle play once again?
Caderea's damage now, BMI back. CW still at full, Caderaa at half, Boloy. Also Chunk, Athena's shield. They're popped in by Abot. Albert taken very low, Phantom execution defensively, and Abot might pull the trigger with that RWM. Look at how low Albert is. Kiboy with a wild charge onto the back. Boy buys the immortality. Inflictor's out to safety. But CW with a crossbow tag onto the back finds him. The immortality going to be sold for the winner truncheon, and the boy buys a lot of time. Meanwhile, on the back, it's still Onic running for the hills. CW versus a boy on Caderaa with a split push. And Geek Fam have taken game 1.
Wow. the Caderaa sees the moment. He sees the moment that can go into the mid lane and destroy the base from Onic. What a split push.
I told you! In those previous few First Lord dances, I mentioned that housekeeping for Onic needs to be looked at a little bit closer. Caderaa being able to pull that under the nose of Onic, that is not something that we see every day, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why Fredrin for Butss, I don't think it's the perfect fit. There's so little rotation.